Our next inductee for the evening is Jay Flanagan. Jay is was the men's cross country coach here from 1972 to 1982. To induct Jay this evening, one of his first student athletes, John Enright, class of 77, who competed on the team from 73 to 76, has joined us here this evening to talk about Jay. When I called Jay to induct him into the Hall of Fame, he sounded terrible. He was sick, and he was actually in the hospital when I got a hold of him. And he was completely moved by the honor. Jay spent 10 years here, and they were wildly successful. But he has been successful every place he's been since then. And unfortunately, he's had a setback with a back injury and some infections, and so he could not join us here this evening. But he was able, with the help, I believe, of his nephew, to film an induction speech. But I'd ask John to come up here and say a few words about Jay. John Enright, thank you.
Okay, first of all, I'm honored to be the one to present the coach. Hopefully I'm worthy of it. From my experience with Coach, I first met him, I came up here to run a road race during the off season in high school. And of course he was there and he's like, oh, you gotta come visit Carthage, I'll set you up with a campus tour and everything. And before I knew it, fall of '73, I'm showing up here for cross-country practice. And 1973 to now, do the math, 50 years ago. It's like, what happened there? Boy. Anyway, true to his word, he said, we have a extremely loaded, talented cross-country team. Like, just loaded. And boy, was he right. These guys could run. And if it's all right, I'm gonna name some of the people on that first team. Joe McGee, John Bomir, Tom Jarris, Glenn Schumacher, who's here tonight, Al Kingsbury, Ron Fink, Rick Cobo. I don't know if I left any out, except one more. There was another freshman, Mr. Pete Henkes, who's also here tonight. And that team was so good. And towards the end of the season, Pete and I, as freshmen, we were able to crack the top 7. We got to run the conference meet. And what's not listed in your program is at the conference CCIW meet, these guys I just mentioned, we beat North Central for the conference championship by 1 point. And again, it's not in I didn't see that listed in the program. And we knew that was a big deal to beat North Central and to win that conference. How big a deal? North Central has won every conference championship since. This group of guys I just mentioned, we beat them. So, and then when it comes to track, Jay was very skilled at coaching the skilled events that had technique, whether it's pole vault, the throws, the jumps, the hurdles, very skilled at teaching every one of those events. And when it came to distance, and again, we had a great group of runners, he's training guys that are run between the half mile all the way up to the 6 mile. We hadn't gone metric yet. And that's quite a variety of different workouts he's coming up with. But his biggest strength, I think, was recognizing us as individuals. What works for me might not work for that runner. Recognizing individual strengths and weaknesses. Like for me, he recognized right away I thrived on repeat quarters. I'll do those all day. I love that workout. We had another guy I mentioned, Ron Fink, he hated them. And he would be sore for 2 days afterwards. They didn't work for Ron. If we were doing a workout like that, Coach would just say, see you, Ron. And Ron got to do his favorite 16-mile run to the expressway and back. Personally, I've never had a favorite 16-mile run. Like I said, let me run those repeat quarters. And again, recognizing individual abilities and strengths and weaknesses. The other thing, he had a really great ability of, check my notes, he would able to dig out of us all this extra effort, especially at the end of a workout when we're tired and exhausted. And a perfect example of this is we'd be out at Petrifying Springs running repeats something over and over and over and bunches of them, and just be exhausted, and he'd say, "Great workout, guys. Let's do one more." And we'd go all out, best time of the night. That was super. Let's do just one more. Same thing, we'd go all out. He said, "I think there's one more on the table. Let's do one more." It took until about senior year for us to realize, until the coach said, "Last one," we were not done. So he did work us hard. The other thing was the variety of workouts he would have us do to make it fun, like the infamous 2-man, 10-man relay. That was a big one. Or he'd do, on the road runs, we'd do telephone poles, sprint 3, jog 1, sprint 3, jog 1. Do that for about 4 miles. That's a heck of a workout. And again, the variety. One time, we would often get in the van, drive out to Petrifying Springs for a workout. We get in the van one time. He takes us to some random park in Kenosha. Unless you're from Kenosha, you don't know where it is. And we get there, and he goes, "Let's just change the venue tonight." So we get there, and he's looking around the park, and he goes, "Okay, what are we going to do tonight? Let's around that grove of trees, and if you turn that way, you can't see it from here, but there's a baseball field. Go around the backstop. When you get back here, you'll see come back the basketball court." He goes, "We're going to do a bunch of these." And we're like, "Coach, how far is it?" And he said, "I just told you, it's around the trees and the backstop." So we start running. We're hesitant because we're like, is this a half mile and we should be smoking this, or is it a mile and a half? We had no idea. And we come back, and he's like, "Not bad. You guys can do better." We rest, do it again, and he goes, "I know you can go faster." And we're like, you don't even know how long it is. How do you know if it's a good time? And he's like, "I don't want you holding back. I want you to push." He finally gave us a time. "I want you to hit this time." And we're like, there's no way, And we wound up hitting that time. It turned out he'd been out there early in the week. He measured it with a wheel. He knew exactly how far it was. He's always pulling something on us like that. One more. Senior year, I had qualified for D3 Nationals in the 1,500 meters. And school was out, so I was the only one doing a workout. And he says, and I think it was the last workout I got to do on what was my home track. And he says, "Go run the 3-mile loop, go to the track, stretch, warm up for a speed workout." I'm like, okay. I'm hoping I'd run quarters because I loved them. So he comes out, and he goes, "You ready?" "Yeah." He goes, "I want you to run a half, break 2 minutes. Complete rest, and we're going to break 2 minutes again. That's it. I'm good." So I take off, I run a 1:59, and all by myself, and I walk just from here to there back, and I'm like, and he goes, "Okay, get on the line." And I said, what about the complete rest? Where'd that go? He said, "If I told you what you really were going to do, you might have held back." And I didn't want that. So I guess, what can we take from this, and what did we learn from Jay, is no matter what you're doing, whether it's a little workout or anything else you might do in life for the next 50 years, don't hold back. Don't ever hold anything back. So thank you, Coach.
Hello, all. I'm deeply disappointed that I wasn't able to travel to Kenosha to be with you tonight. I really enjoyed my time at Carthage, and I loved being on the campus. I am also very, very humbled on receiving this award. It's an opportunity, though, to get back to my contemporaries that were coaching at the time that I was. There was a very unusual bunch of coaches at that time. They were all great coaches. Of course, the great Mr. Keller, he really set the football program on very, very well. Ron Zalakar, Augie Schmidt, who made baseball very popular. And I couldn't forget John Swift, who left me with the building of a very good cross-country team, having Harry Pennington, Ken Henningfeld, John Bomir in the program to start with, and bringing in Tom Jarris, of course. Tom was able to convince Joe McGee to come back to school, and being such a great athlete, he really led our team. So that put together a great program that made it easy for me to have success. In fact, the Success is the only team that's ever beaten North Central in the last 50 years. So that was really a really great experience. And Carthage was a place where you could always recruit athletes. It was very, very good. I think that it was the beauty of the campus, sitting there on the lake and the bluffs right below the campus, really made it nice to have a place to get athletes to come to. Again, I'm disappointed I'm not there to receive the award, but I hope all goes well. I congratulate the others that are getting this award tonight, and I'm sorry I'm not there again. Thank you.